Greetings. This is the last session of the candidates' debate. This is a free selection of themes for the candidates, and within the 4 minutes, you'll be able to say whatever you want, but we want debate. Now, in this session, I would want to talk about public service, because this is very relevant to the people of Hong Kong. I do not know whether you've noticed that the streets seem to be dirtier these days, queues in the public hospitals seem to be longer, and this is because there is a new arrangement that is cutting off expenditure among the departments. This is 011, and that is the first year they don't have to cut budget, the second year 1%, and then another 1%. But at the same time, the CPI price levels are increasing. Can you please let me explain this? She is time and again misleading people. Why am I misleading? This is all in black and white. This is a free debate session, isn't it? Yes, but we are both chairman of allocation of resources committees. Why is it not called 111 but 011? Because CSI fought for it. No, it's my decision. Well, I don't understand. Hong Kong, the finances is so good. Why is everything being deducted?
It's not an expenditure package. We want the expenditure. We want each department to be more efficient in spending money. That's not the way to do it, John. In 1998, I already was engaged in the efficiency enhancement scheme to help the departments to restructure the procedure. If you adopt this broad brush approach and cutting down the expenditure by 1% and another 1%, it's not working. In March, a union of the discipline, the services department, including the C&E department, had written to us. I read that letter. It was very well written. They say that very pleased that Mrs. Lam, in her platform, proposed that we should review the 011 scheme because it has seriously hurt the morale of the civil servants. When we promoted the 011 scheme, no department had ever had to cut the expenditure.
Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
Every year, 4 to 5% of departments were spending less, and we have some savings. We hope that those departments who are not able to make some savings, they can take 1% out. We want them to
why is that in that
have new initiatives with that 1%.
Don't you think you should save up what you cannot spend?
Every year there will be 4 or 5% of the
because you're talking
budget
about
unspent.
average. You're talking about average. There are two departments that have mentioned just now. They spend 99.9% of the budget. One is responsible for libraries and parks, and they spend up to 99% of their budgets. And they were thinking, do they have to close down the libraries earlier or cut the managers or the janitors for the toilets in the parks? No. But you are holding on to this $900 billion and putting the pressure on this 170,000 members of the civil service when everybody needs a service.
Our expenditure had continued to increase. Ever since I became the FS in 2007, the 200 billion has now gone up to 500 million.
John is raising this figure to your attention.
You talk about, well, the figures indicated have been growing.
Many times he's rounding up and rounding down as he likes, and it's 2.3 billion and it's 4.5 billion respectively. It's not the figures he quoted.
Now it's Mr. Wu's turn. I've heard the two policy secretaries putting blame on each other. I don't know who is right and who is wrong, but this proves that the current administration has the determination. I don't think we can deny that. So my question is that a few months ago, during the Guangzhou incident, the brownfield site should have been used to build 17,000 PRH units. I don't know why after touching base with certain people 3 times, the number was cut down to 4,000 and 13,000 PRH units were gone. The government told us there was no record of such informal consultation. There were no records of such consultation. Who made the decision that there should be no records? Why was there such a policy decision? 13,000 PRH units were gone and there's no record at all. So, Mrs. Lam, you were then the Chief Secretary of Administration. Why don't you have to be responsible? The Land Supply Committee is
The Land Development Commission was under Tsang, and he said he always agrees with his boss. And the CE and John on this matter were of the same view.
I don't know. Now, hold on. I remember that the two of you were passing the buck to each other. You totally did not want to be responsible for the administration. I don't think that's the case. On that day, I said very clearly that, well, this time we're talking about Guangzhou. The CE himself had specifically set up a meeting and came up with a series of decisions. And those decisions did not go through the Land Supply Committee. And hold on, why was there no record? I've worked in the government for so long. I was the chairman of the election committee. I was also the commissioner on surveillance. Why is it that there was no record for the 3 informal consultations? Why is it that there have been no record? You cut down the number of PRH units by 13,000, and there's no record of that.
Maybe there were no meetings, according to my understanding, when John was the chair of the Land Development Commission. There were no meetings.
There should have been record that there have been no meeting. Why were there no records at all? What kind of administration are we talking about? At that Lands Committee, we did discuss this matter, and this brownfield site was identified by the Land Supply Commission. But eventually, in respect of this piece of land, and the planning for this site, the CE had specifically set up a committee to deal with all the matters relating to this. Please pause for a moment. Now, even if you don't have any record, do you know why such a decision was made? And what were those 3 informal consultations, and what was the outcome? Why was the decision made that 13,000 PRH units no longer had to be built? If you don't know, then you have been negligent. If you knew, then there should have been records. I don't know what Carrie has to say.
I didn't participate in it. I have nothing to say.
And that's why they are blaming each other. And I don't know who should be held responsible.
There's division of labor in the government.
I know there is division of labor, but you're the chief secretary.
You always agree with your boss.
Well, the FS.
The FS is not responsible to the CS.
I know. I'm very pleased that I was not responsible to the Chief Secretary. So that's why we've said that the CE has set up his own committee to deal specifically with many such specific matters. Mr. John Tsang, Carrie, earlier you made one point, that is, if the mainstream view doesn't support you, then you will resign. Recently, there had been a new opinion poll, and your support rate was 30%. And those who don't support you were 45%. Even before you became the CE, you already have a negative rating in the opinion poll. Would you consider withdrawing from the election?
Well, in the community, there are many such surveys. My team had analyzed those with me. Each of the surveys will have different questionnaires, range of questions, and different respondents. But at the same time, I see that there is a survey which says that I am higher than you in support rate by 3 percentage points.
You believe in the finding of that poll?
And they also think that my capability is relatively higher than you. And therefore, John, on this point of public support, it comes up and it goes down.
Forget about poll ratings.
A lot of people running for election and even coming to the position that public support is high, but soon after it falls. A
Even
lot
for
of
the presidents in
presidents.
other countries. Do you know that tonight many people are watching us live, and they're watching FB live. Do you know that under your face the number of dislikes that people have posted?
On Facebook, yes, I'm the weak one. Some people say John is the underdog, but on Facebook, I am the underdog of the underdog.
You always say you want to connect with young people.
And there are thousands of people who dislike me on
You
Facebook.
keep saying you want to connect with young people.
In my
You want to connect with
platform,
the
there
professional
are
people.
3 very clear points about the young people in their in schooling, in their participation in politics, in their career development. My doors are always open to the young people. I communicate with them. But on Facebook, as I have admitted just now, I'm a latecomer. You have already accumulated so many likes. In your days in the government, you had so much time to accumulate likes. I don't even have time to go
how much
on
time
the net.
you spend on this. And it does not have to do with what you
No, I really respect you. You have such capable political assistants. I don't even have a political assistant. I save some money. And he or she had helped you a lot. Chung has helped you a lot. And some people say, if I'm successful, Chung should join me.
Team are really, united.
I believe Mr. Wu as well.
It's something that it's a team that you can buy with money, because
You spent a lot on your advertising, lots and lots of campaign advertising, I see.
There is a ceiling on our campaign budget. All of us are spending the same amount. But why is it you can't do it? It's a question whether you're united. If we are all united, our society, even our society can change. Of course, if we stand united,
Are you on
our
Facebook? Do
society
you
can
use
change.
Facebook, Mr. Wu?
But all of your friends, I stand united with you, and you say that, you can never be wrong. So we're now coming towards the end of our debate, and each candidate will have 1 minute to sum up, starting with Mr. Wu. I've heard the 2 policy secretaries, I've seen the performance tonight, and I've discovered that they are just passing the buck regarding the faults of the current administration. None of them would want to be responsible. I don't know whom to hold accountable. They still are asking the election committee members for more power, to give them more power so that when they became CE, only then would they again serve the people of Hong Kong. Before that, they don't have to be responsible for any of the faults of the administration. Do you trust them? Hong Kong needs an upright CE with integrity to lead Hong Kong back onto the right track. You still have more than 10 seconds. I won't need that. Next, Mr. John Tsang. Over the last 55 days, I have worked very hard to conduct my election campaign. And this campaign does not just rely on myself. I have to rely on a dedicated team, all working together on the campaign, so that the people have a better understanding of ourselves and identify with what we do. At the same time, many people are discouraging us and even asking me to give up. But I have not done that, because each and every time I can see the people, hear what they tell me. I can see many of the remarks on Facebook, people giving me the encouragement, and that would give me the momentum to move forward. I can promise you that I will persist to the end. I will not give up, and I will not let you down. Thank you very much. Lastly, Mrs. Carrie Lam. Fellow citizens, Hong Kong is now at a crossroad, and many people have reflected people have told me that we're facing many challenges. Young people are facing difficulties. The professionals are worried about the future. All these are real livelihood issues. Politics is not the only solution to our social division. We must, do something concrete for our society. All three of us want to unite our society, but after uniting our society, we have to come up with concrete policies and have the ability to deliver before we can improve people's livelihood, so that we can share the same common vision, so that young people can grow up healthily, young people can develop the potential, adult people can have a decent home, and old people can live happily in retirement. I hope all members of the public and members of the election committee will support me to become the next CE of Hong Kong. So all the three candidates have now finished, and I'd like to thank you all, and also I'd like to thank the audience for attending our debate, and I'd also like to thank the BDO Limited for being the scrutineer. So I hope that through this debate, the public will have now a better understanding of our three candidates. Good night.